I'm your host, Donna Cates, and each week we'll dive into powerful stories, expert strategies, and practical tools to help you take charge of your financial future. Whether you're planning for retirement, navigating a divorce, or simply looking to build your wealth with confidence, this is your space to grow, learn, and thrive. Let's get started with today's podcast. Hello there, how are you doing today?
I'm good. How are you?
I'm fabulous. Tell me, I'm going to attempt to say your name. Hopefully, I'm not going to butcher it. So I'm curious, is it Rania?
Correct.
Rania and Hattar?
Yeah, it's Hatter. Yeah,
Hattar. Okay, so more like the Mad Hatter. Okay,
exactly.
awesome. What I'd love to do is go ahead and start with a about maybe a 90-second overview of what it is that you actually do and why you
hmm
got into it.
So I actually own and run the Mad Hatter. It is an interactive production company. What that means is we do out of home and experiential. So basically, we help brands humanize their product by bringing them into their clients' lives in a more natural way. So, if, for example, if a soap company wants to introduce itself into the market, and wants to make they call it disturbance over social media, they would create an event that has a user journey that helps the client learn about their product without them feeling that they're being hit across the head to buy the product or use the product, for it just to feel natural. Like there's a generation, for example, it's funny, I was talking to my partner and I always say, oh, yeah, no, you need to buy more Pampers, or did you Hoover the living room? And he's like, why are you saying Pampers and Hoover? It's diapers and vacuum. But it's the way, it's kind of like, because I noticed that brand growing up put that kind of human touch to it. So I automatically associate them to my need, or like, oh, can you hand me a Kleenex kind of thing instead of a tissue?
That's what I was getting ready to say. I've got my box of not tissues, but Kleenex, right?
Exactly.
And that branding is really powerful because once we get it in our head, that's how we refer to everything. So
Exactly.
tell me, what's been the biggest problem that you've seen in your industry, and what are you doing to solve it?
Um, the biggest problem is the misconception of what experiential is, because a lot of clients assume that it's just throwing an event, and it's not. It's it's in layman's term, if you want to simplify it to its purest form, it's an event where people show up at the same time and do something at the same time. But it's not an event because you have to think of the integration of the product within the location. Like, even as it's like the strategy, how are we speaking to the client about the product? What is the narrative story? What is the user journey? Because we're not just depending on people finding out about the experiences on social media or through word of mouth, but also it's like when we did this huge experience for an alcohol beverage company. We took over a white building and we basically covered the whole building, vinyled it out with the colors of the brand and the fruits that it was, releasing for that flavor, so on and so forth. So we got a lot of foot traffic. We got a lot of passersby, like they'd stop the car while they're going into West Hall and be like, what is going on there? And they'd be like, oh my God, okay. And they screen grab the QR code, sign up for the 3-day event kind of thing. So it's really thinking about it holistically, of introducing it to the players, bringing it into their life. How are we disrupting it, introducing it to them? And then it doesn't end there. It's when they go home, how do they continue talking about it? So then there's organic social media after the fact. So we take advantage of more than just what we've put the dollar amount for, to kind of spread it out longer.
Wow, it sounds so fascinating. And I've never seen anything like it myself. So I'm really enthused about it. But so, where do you see the industry going in the next 5 to 10 years? This is totally new to me. So I'm sure that there are others that don't know much about it. But tell us about where you see the industry in 5 to 10 years.
Interestingly enough, when I started pushing this in the US about like 10 years ago, it wasn't a big thing. It was a big thing back in Europe. They used to call it interactive art. So it's where you made branding into an art piece kind of thing.
Right.
As more and more the US started getting globalized and we start getting people and clients from across the pond, experiential started becoming a thing. And I kept telling people, I'm like, that is the new media, that is the new way. And interestingly enough, it started going that heavily, especially like they started doing the ice cream museum, the Monet experience, the Van Gogh experience, because they realized people want to spend money on an experience versus on a product because they want to create core memories. And if not core memory, a memory that they can discuss or talk about. That's why part of these experiences were like, it's important to have giveaways that are a conversational piece. Like if you're going to an experience that caters more for visual media, then maybe you're taking a holographic cube that has the same thing replicated in it. So when someone comes over, be like, what am I looking? What is that moving? And then you tell them, oh my God, I went to the Van Gogh Museum, da, 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 and this is what I experienced. Then COVID happened and it put a huge stop to everything about going out. And the market actually panicked and thought we were going to go to like the old school because everyone was just at home and watching TV, and no one's going to want to go out anymore. But because we were all locked up, and some states far longer than others, it created the complete opposite of no one wants to sit at home anymore and watch TV or documentaries. They all want to go out. So experiential kind of started going back into its like full swing. And funny enough, I was actually reading an article in I don't remember which business page on LinkedIn, and Amazon was saying experiences for products is the next best thing. It's like the new form of media and advertisement. And I was like, I know. This is what we've been saying for a bit. And also generations have changed. Like I know from people who are younger than me, who are in their 30s or in their 20s, they would rather spend their money on travel. They would rather spend their money on going out, on experiencing something that they feel has either altered their mindset or made them think in a unique, different way. So it's also very important, and this is what I talk about with my competitors as well, because everyone thinks, oh, if you've got production companies that you're competing against, you're enemies. Not at all. It's like I've actually helped build the other company, so I'm really still friendly with the owners, and we talk about how it's important to never underestimate people's intelligence, because a that's how you lose people. Like the amount of times as simple as I've watched a movie and it's they've underestimated the intelligence, and I figured out who the murderer is in the first 5 minutes. Like I sat there for the next 2 hours completely bored out of my mind, and I said, I'm never going to watch a movie by this director or production company again, kind of thing.
Impact, right?
Yes.
Wow. Well, I'd like to shift gears just a touch and let me ask you, what is the biggest failure or challenge that you may have faced, either personally or professionally, up to this point in your life? And how has that shaped the way that you're doing business today?
Interestingly enough, I was born and raised in the Middle East, and being an Arab woman, we were always used to be marginalized. Like I remember once I was working for a huge national TV station, And one of the leaders asked me to wait until all the men have said their ideas and then I can go. So that's when I said, I'm packing my bags, I'm moving to America. It's freer. It's, like I can be myself. Interestingly enough, it's kind of the same. Like it's such a boys club, but it's advertised that it's inclusive. It's advertised that they're pushing for diversity, and especially in our industry, it's a huge, huge boys club. So when I started the Mad Hatter, and honestly, I think it's one of the very few women owned and led and LGBTQ friendly experiential production companies. So when I started, a lot of these huge brands would call the boys club the guys that they would bro out with and be like, okay, we need to put this experience together. But they wouldn't know how to do it. So then they'd call me and be like, we want you to white label. So we'll say that our company did it, but it's actually you're doing all the work without getting the credit. And that was honestly the biggest challenge that I had to kind of establish the Mad Hatter and establish my career as this mad woman that knows how to put uh, an elephant into an airplane, throw them out while they're having a burger, kind of thing. Never throw animals out of planes. I'm just saying, but it's
Right,
like
right, right.
an insane kind of idea.
Wow. And I think it's you kind of hit the nail on the head when you said it's really no different here in the US than it was there. But the differentiator being that we talk the talk, but we're not
Yes.
necessarily walking the walk, right?
Not at all.
Mhm.
Like I'm registered as a small women business. I've got the certificates. I'm signed up with SAM.gov, everything to kind of give me the leg up. I've even been to huge, huge agencies that put this meetings together of we want our clients to get to know you, we want to work with you, but they're really putting that facade to their client to be like, oh, we want to work with this agency because they use minority companies or small businesses and so on. So it's kind of it's just a checkbox.
Checking the box, right?
And here's the sad thing, to be honest with you, I understand why they do this. Having like done this by my own in my own company like since 2022, and before that, like the last 10 years, I was helping other large organizations start their experiential arm. There's a lot of situations where people and companies take advantage of the diversity programs or the ability to be helped to get into our industry by manipulating it and falsely advertising what they are able to do.
Mhm.
So you think that you're hiring this company, they're great, they're ticking all the boxes and their work is great, but once you hire them, I've had horror stories where I got called by clients with like, oh, we hired this diverse company or this group and they've just ghosted us, or they dropped the ball, or they just said, sue me, because they know that that company, that like that big of a product does not want to go in the newspaper and say, oh, we've sued this like minority owned company or woman led company. Or so it's sad. It's sad that we're all kind of in this together trying to push hard, but then you've always have these like little bad apples that kind of ruin it for everyone.
Hmm.
It's like I was reading this post yesterday that said, to bring down the patriarchy, don't use other women as kindling. And I was like,
I just had the same reaction as you,
yeah,
just hearing those words.
yeah.
Wow, wow, something. Wow. Well, I'm going to ask you another question. Tell me, if you could have lunch with anybody, living or deceased, who would that be and why?
Audrey Hepburn. I know it's bizarre, but I've always admired how she comes from royalty. She's extremely intelligent. She's multilingual, not bilingual, multilingual,
Hmm.
and she's beautiful. And she was able, at that time where it was difficult, able to use that to her advantage, to not just kind of be like, okay, I'm pretty and this is all I'm going to do kind of thing, but like how to help the needy, how to push the industry. It's like women who actually made a difference within their industry to bring attention to it.
Right, absolutely. Well, and I feel like you're being that person too for your industry. That's awesome.
Hope so.
Yeah.
I hope so. It's not easy, but
Well, and tell me this, what is the best way for people to contact you if they want to know more about you and what you do and how to work with you?
we have a website. It's www.themadhattar.com. So it's TheMadhattar. So it's a play on my family name, as well as they can just pop me an email, Rania@themadhattar.com. Like we always get questions from brands and even smaller agencies about like, we've got a client that wants to launch their new orange drink. How do we kind of bring attention to it in Coachella or in South by Southwest or Comic Con, or, or even like in front of LAX or around the world? And it's like between me and my technologists and my strategists, we kind of put an approach together and be like, this is what you do. This is what needs to happen. If you'd like to proceed, let's do it. If not, good luck, kind
Mhm.
of thing.
So you kind of, yeah, so they tell you what they want, and then you do kind of a cursory, this is what it could be, and then they say, okay, yeah, let's do that, or no, don't think so.
Yeah. And most importantly, why? Because by the end of it, it's their
Mhm.
businesses. They want to see like I was talking about this morning how businesses want to see a number for their money's
That's
worth,
right.
because
Got to
it's
see
easy
that
for them to
return on
say
investment, right?
return of investment. That's the sentence I completely put up froze. But it's because everyone knows if you put a Dorito commercials in the Super Bowl, you're gonna have at least however, like what it was, 10 million, 50 million eyeballs on it, because you're getting that everyone's watching the Super Bowl. But a lot of companies don't measure the interaction within the experience, but we do. So we can tell you, like, if you're releasing a brand and different aspects of it, people interacted with the purple color more than the orange color, or the age group between so and so liked this brand and this experience more than that. I'm going to keep it brief, but like biggest example is one technology company came to us wanting to release a new technology, and they wanted to skew to much younger audience, and I let them know that the price tag off your technology, people in their teens cannot afford it. So the way you're priced and the way your membership is and everything else, you actually need to hit the target audience who are buying your product already and can afford it, which is 35 and above. And they very much were like, no, we don't want to do that, because we want to skew for younger clients. Lo and behold, now they're trying to push the same product, version 3 of it. And they contacted us. I was like, dude, you're doing the same thing, and we're telling you like you can release this until it's version 10 of it, but you're still not going to do it because you're not willing to listen of who your target audience is, who you're marketing to.
Right. And see, and that's why we hire the professionals, because we don't know what we know. I mean, I know what I do very well, but yeah, so
Totally. That's why we've got accountants, we've got wealth managers, we've got people who know what they do. You can't be chocolate and satisfy everyone.
yes. Awesome. Awesome. All right. Well, we'll go ahead and wrap up now. It was such a pleasure to meet you. I hope today's conversation left you feeling inspired, informed, and ready to take the next step in your financial journey. Remember, building wealth isn't just about money, it's also about creating a life that aligns with your goals and values. If you found this episode valuable, please subscribe, leave a review, and share it with the women in your life who deserve financial empowerment too. Until next time, stay confident, stay empowered, and keep building the life you desire.